Good morning. It is Tuesday, September 19th. It is good to be with you this day. Our poem this morning comes from the poet Naomi Shihab Nye. I was first introduced to her as a poet when I was in college and instantly fell in love with her writing. She is an American poet who was born to a Palestinian father and an American mother. She first began composing poetry at the age of 6. She's published or contributed to over 30 volumes of poetry, and her works include poetry, young adult fiction, picture books, novels. She has won a number of awards. But she describes herself as a wandering poet. She says that much of her poetry is inspired by her childhood memories and her travels. She calls San Antonio home, but she says that's because I've lived there the longest. Everywhere can be home, she says. The moment you unpack, make a tiny space that feels agreeable. If you're not familiar with her work, I really strongly encourage you to check it out. She is just marvelous. But her poem that we are going to listen to today, called Red Brocade, really struck me the very first time I read it, and it has lingered with me for quite a while. And I share it with you now. Red Brocade. The Arabs used to say, when a stranger appears at your door, feed him for 3 days before asking who he is, where he's come from, where he's headed. That way he'll have strength enough to answer. Or by then you'll be such good friends you don't care. Let's go back to that. Rice, pine nuts. Here, take the red brocade pillow. My child will serve water to your horse. No, I was not busy when you came. I was not preparing to be busy. That's the armor everyone put on to pretend they had a purpose in the world. I refuse to be claimed. Your plate is waiting. We will snip fresh mint into your tea. When I first read this poem, I thought about our call as Christians to enter a radical hospitality. This is something we've talked about in our congregation for a few months now in our committees, and over the summer it kind of slowed down a bit, but with this poem I feel it roaring back. This call that is really at the heart of Matthew 25 and the call to be a Matthew 25 congregation. In Matthew 25, Jesus is telling of the judgment of the nations, and in it, the people that he puts on the right, they say, Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you? And the king will answer them, truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me. And this is at the heart of this poem, and it is at the heart of our call. When a stranger appears at your door, feed him for 3 days before asking who he is. Let's go back to that. It is a beautiful call. It is a hard call, but it is at the heart of our gospel. Friends, take this poem with you into this day. I pray that it would nudge something in your heart. And I just pray that you have a really wonderful day and a good rest of your week. Receive this benediction. May the peace of the Lord Christ go with you wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you. May he bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors. Peace be with you.